But yeah, man, this is your weight, man. I know you said you had you did a lot of digging, right? For the old oh yeah. Hey, and if you're just joining, that's my bad. I had so I want as many continuity errors, just make sure you guys understand that I am an amateur, like I said. No, but this is a weight you did a lot of research on too, right? Like following the wild card process and everything
Yeah.
like that. So I think you'll be able to give us some great points here. So
Yeah. And that's what I'm going to start with, right? I do like that we have gotten out of really doing wild card at the conference level to a degree. It is a national wild card system. There's 28 qualifiers. Well, there's 25 qualifiers automatic. Then there's three nationally. Now, the qualifiers are based on the national rankings of that last ranking. So 1 through 25 get tossed amongst all the conferences. Now, if your conference does not have a guy in the top 25, what happens is the 25th spot gets taken away and is then given to make sure the champ of a conference is always in. So there's that. Here's where I have a problem. And this is not to really knock the ones that made it in. I hope they prove me wrong. I hope they have a hell of a tournament. But I do feel, and a lot of it too might be because I live in York. I think the biggest snub in the entirety of all wild cards across all weights was at 285, and it was a York heavyweight. I'm going to walk you through a little process here. So this weight ended up having five
yeah,
wild cards. Now,
and you're
the
supposed to.
biggest elephant in the room is, okay, at first I didn't even know, because I'm working the KCAC conference, about the big one.
Yeah.
And that was at the fact that a four-time national finalist who could have made the fifth easily this year,
Heavy
uh
favorite, maybe the heaviest favorite in the tournament.
heaviest, yeah, probably. I thought with him in there, and you talk about the other Hurd brother, I'm looking at a Grandview team that possibly just annihilates the scoring record and has more than half of the national champs.
Yep.
But Greg Hagan, um, from things I have known and things that have come to me through various resources that are legit,
Yeah.
the hands were really tied for Grandview, for the coaching staff. And here's what's nice about having a good roster: you don't have to appease anybody,
Yeah.
you don't have to fluff them up. It's next man up. But I will say this: it looks really, really, really weird not seeing a Grandview heavyweight in
Man,
the
right?
field.
Yeah.
Because Grandview heavyweights, okay, Grandview in general, okay, Grandview probably get All American, regardless of weight. But you've got to think, okay, for the last 4 years, he's been in the finals. Before that, you had so many beasts. And the fact they've got some guys that are, they've had junior college high All Americans that don't even crack the top 12. They've had guys that have absolutely just always been in the top two or three.
Yep. God, what was
I
his name?
last Layden,
Well,
Josh Layden was one
well,
of them,
yeah, Jake Layden. So he's
or
a
Jake Layden.
yeah,
Sorry.
he was our assistant. He was a top three guy, and then him and Saran had the good semifinal match
Oh,
there. And but then it was his teammate Brokehammer that I think won. Uh, outside of that year that Demetrius Thomas came in and kind of like shocked everybody before he went out to pit. I'm pretty sure that was like like you said, between Layden and Brokehammer, and then Eric Thompson, the assistant coach at Arizona State, that was their heavyweight before that. So like you're talking about like a decade of like dominance, right? Like at minimum, right? So it is
yeah.
strange.
And and sorry if you heard all that crazy noise going on. We are in a whiteout, and so it was doing like that gigantic signal over my phone, which I'm gonna launch down the hallway. I hope I didn't break it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, so Grandview, besides having a dynasty of a team, I really think of them as a dynasty at heavyweight too. That they've just been so good. So it is a little different to see Grandview without somebody here. But I want to get to what I think is bad karma. So Hagen's out. So his spot, what they do is soon as he was not entered at the conference tournament, boom, that goes into the wild card pool. So there was 4. Okay. Here is my breakdown of some things. Mars Vasquez, who is not in the tournament, pinned Cone Mattern here at number 8.
Yeah.
Okay. Mattern is the GPAC champion. Now, Vasquez also pinned Martin of Texas Wesleyan, who I know is in there. Yep. Wilbert Martin at the 14. He's facing number 14.
Oh, yep.
First round. Okay. So he has those 2 wins. Marsh's backup, who was not even in the top 12 for York, pinned Sufi of Missouri Baptist. Okay. Sufi makes the tournament. Sufi was pinned by Martin,
Yeah.
who was pinned by the aforementioned Vasquez. But I'm not done yet. Here we go. Sufi was pinned twice by Martin. Sufi also pinned by Remington Gay, who's not in this bracket, of Midland. I don't even think Midland had a starter make this weight class. So there's another bad beat. But then it goes, oh no, I have the note here. Remington Gay was 0-2 at the GPAC. Okay. So you had a guy that went 0-2 at the GPAC that pinned the Sufi guy. And then I go back to Vasquez pin the GPAC champ. I go on and more. No clue how Vasquez is left out when 3 wild cards plus 2 more were added. So another one popped in there.
Yeah.
Some reason the another wild card stayed in a conference, okay, with 0 explanations of where second place went. Now, here's what I mean by that. In the Mid-South, the runner-up was Gabe Craig.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where the hell is Gabe Craig on this? Why was this not really a national wild card? Because all of a sudden, and I know it says that, okay, so he's out. And then so Rogers in 3rd qualified. So Rogers should be in there. And I see him. He's against number 13, Suvac. Then Garcia of Midway gets in with Craig being out. So Garcia, who took 4th, which wasn't a qualifying spot, it was 1 out of qualifying spot.
Yeah.
He gets in there. I think you really have to break it down and look at everybody. You know, that's a super tough conference. And maybe that's the right call. Maybe he's the best first guy out. But it really strikes me just bad when
he's a senior too, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And he's distraught. He had been at 197, decided to bulk up and had a great year. He had some good battles with some really tough guys in this mix. And the fact that he pinned Sufi, or no, his backup pinned Sufi, and Sufi has had some bad losses. Suvac, where's Suvac at? He's 13. Okay. Seth Suvac of Dickinson State beat Sufi 25-10.
Yeah, man. I was on that committee for 6 years. Like, I could probably tell you how that happened. I'm not a fan of our process in general.
I'll straight out say some stuff because I don't coach anymore.
Yeah.
And there's a few reasons why. And it's It's not going to be the reason I tell you, but I will say one of the reasons I don't coach anymore is there's so many kids out there that would fill an open spot on a roster. And there's so many kids that then just don't get recruited for some reason. We've had several programs, and I get it. Not all of them have great support, but you have 14 kids listed on your website, but you bring 3 to a national qualifier. That happened at about 4 different regions. So I don't want anybody thinking I'm just picking on a poor team south of me.
Yeah.
We all know who it is. It might be your alum.
I didn't graduate from there. It doesn't count.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, to just kind of get off this, I do think that sometimes what happens is you end up with a few guys that are right on the cusp. And I looked, and when I was looking at first guys out, I did a little kind of a deal on who was just outside of the automatic qualifying. York had a situation where they had 4 guys
Yeah.
that were in that situation. I honestly thought the wild card they got at 125 was going to be the third one down on the list. I thought the 57-pounder Jonathan Vincent, who has made the JUCO tournament a few times, would have been almost a shoe-in. And when I saw 5 wild cards at this weight for a guy who pinned the GPAC champ,
Well,
maybe we need to allow for more time to think before we go ahead and do the wild cards and go ahead and seed things. And I mean, it's not locked in anyway until Thursday. Why don't
yeah.
we make sure we get it right and have more deep conversations about everybody? Because
Yeah.
I do think, and let me say, I hope Sufi proves me wrong.
Yeah.
But right now, looking at what he's done against everybody, I think he had a 1-point win over Cribley, who got in as a wild card also,
Yeah.
Cribley of Doan. But it is what it is. Now let's actually talk
Yeah.
about the bracket.
No, and well, you're 100% right, and you're correct, man. It's like you're not rooting against a single person like out there, right? Like we've all been there competitively, like, and they have no control outside of like the match happened, right? Like it's out of their hands at that point when they're relying on the wild card stuff. So it's
Oh yeah,
no fault of their own, but yeah, man, like you'd like to see it, especially for seniors and stuff. And it's supposed to be it shouldn't matter if there's 4 guys on the bubble, if those 4 are like the right guys, right? But
correct.
that was a big argument that I used to make in like so then I can kind of turn it off. But like you can't take like the human element out of these things, right? Like there's that
Yeah,
vibe like, well, we got that guy in or whatever, or somebody needs a guy in too at a weight, and then you get just this big. It's just not necessarily the best way to do it. And there's too many, and I said this too. We were at least, rank wise, pretty consistently ranked inside the top 10, right? Like we had a lot of guys. I think we had 11 qualifiers the last 2 years in a row. Things like that at Ottawa where I was coaching.
yep,
But I was like, man, we have way too much input on this entire process. Like, and it's the most competitive programs. And so unfortunately, like the programs voting, and they're all great guys. I'm not saying that trying to make that point. But I think that the top programs have too much influence on getting, like there's a competitive advantage to it, right? Like in terms of the seating and in terms of getting your guys through the process. And I only speak on that just because, like I said, I've been in that process
yeah.
the last 6 years. So yeah,
Well, and something that was added frustration is the week after Marsh pinned Mattern, Hastings had a duel at York,
yeah,
and York has 4 guys listed as heavyweight on their roster. They brought 0,
yeah,
which is if you have bodies, and I'm along lines too of we talked about this a little bit. Some schools are struggling to fill the 10 weights. Okay. Then maybe we need to kind of relook how we do events. Maybe it's got to be like an MMA. Oh, you got 3 184s. We're going to have 3 184s. We're going to have this to give because honestly, for the fan base that's not wrestling nuts,
yeah,
you need the on-campus stuff. But referees don't prorate. If you only are throwing out 3 guys against 10,
yeah,
I mean, we're losing money for both programs, and it's not good.
And it's a lot of travel, right? Like, like
Oh,
if you have to duel, like I mean, York is kind of the outlier for us, and they've gotten it, a little bit more competitive now, but there's a couple years in there where
it was tough.
yeah, and you're driving and going and wrestling 3 or 4 matches and it's not great. So but
Yeah.
yeah, like you said, but to the bracket, honestly, this is like one of the ones where I think that, you get life with another bye here. Man, they didn't come out too well in that first round. I don't quite remember the first chunk, but I mean, they got a lot of high seeds with buys.
Yeah, and so and if people aren't too familiar with how the tournament scoring goes, it's a little different from your typical dual scoring. So it's 2 for a pin, 1.5 for attack, and 1 for a major decision. But you also get advancement. On the front side, it's 2. Now, if you get a bye and then you win, it does some sort of weird math that we all have forgotten how to use at our age. So there's some sort of weird thing.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's interesting having that buy. The 2 and the 3 and the 4 all get buys. I'm sure Gage Braun is not upset that he's got a match early on. Brandon Herb of Indiana Tech, though, I mean,
He's been
you're at the
around.
national tournament. I hope everybody's going to be a pretty tough out for everybody. But we'll see. But there's definitely some names in here that I'm sitting back going, oh,
Yeah.
really? You really think that is what they should be seated?
How about your
Um,
boy, you're from your alma mater, man? How's he you got a bold prediction for the
so
Kansas boy?
so let me throw some two things at you here. So Braden Morgan last year was at well in the last 4 years was at University of Central Oklahoma. He backed up the two-time Division II national champion.
Yeah.
Well, last fall, so the fall, well, a year ago from this past fall, so the fall of 2023 going into 24, he had to wrestle varsity because the starter only had 1 semester left of eligibility.
Yeah.
He placed at the prestigious Midwest Classic and was ranked as high as 12th in the nation in D2.
Yeah.
He is from that area. He's from El Dorado, just 20, 30 minutes. He's going to be pumped.
Yeah.
I saw him in the KCAC finals. He looked relaxed.
Yeah.
He is an absolute dangerous number 7.
He's an active, like he's an offensive heavyweight. Like he'll be one of those guys you'll see he's gonna fire off a lot of shots, doubles. He's gonna go score some points. So he's not gonna be like hand fight you for 7 minutes and see you like, like the 1-1. Maybe sometimes those heavyweight matches are like he's out there, he's trying to score. So exciting heavyweight to watch, I think.
He yeah, he gets after it. A real funny story. So we've got a few other guys that have kind of bounced around to different places. Wild card. Emmett Bivens of Wayland Baptist.
Yeah.
He gets number 6, Johnny Cruz of Indiana Tech. Emmett Bivens started off, he was at Texas Wesleyan.
Yeah.
And as a freshman, the Sooner Conference was by themselves. They
Yeah.
weren't with the AMC. Well, there was still a deal. If you won it, you got to the conference championship or you got to the NAIA championship. And I really wish I could find this. The top 2 individuals in the Sooner both got nice plaques.
Yeah.
Here comes the fun story. And I don't know if you know this one, but this is a fun one. I was down there announcing the event. There was no other heavyweight. So Coach Bedford said, Sways, go up. I'm on the podium. I have the second place Sooner Athletic Conference trophy somewhere here in the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Dude. Yeah.
Bivens bounced back, went to Carl Albert State JUCO, was there for 2 years, got his associates. And so he's got this year, he's got one more year. He has dramatically improved. But again, he's not seated. Cribley of Doan's not seated, and they're both super tough.
Yeah.
A lot of GPAC in here. Jacob Jarabek is a Yeti. That dude is big.
Yeah.
He's tough to wrestle. He gets Randy Gonzalez at first round, who got in on a wild card for Moval. But then Jerabek has to take on the guy that beat him for the conference title in Mattern.
Right away.
And it's just, I sit back and I'm going, holy smokes, this is really good. You know, I talk about Cribley gets it on a wild card. They drop you down to number 15 seeds, Zeph Civils
Yep.
of Midland. Civils lost to Cribley at the Missouri Valley Invitation 2-2 in the ultimate tiebreak. Civils beat quite a few, pretty decent wrestlers, including Ethan DeRoche of Providence, which is the 12 seed. So you're looking at, okay, Civils is at 15, but he's beat the 12.
Yeah.
And Cribley beat Civils. And then is I don't see him in there. There it's true to God name, Ty Cobb of Lords, which is just a wonderful name,
Yeah.
especially if this was baseball.
Right.
But it's heavyweight.
Yeah.
Let's throw them all in a bag and
Yeah.
just pick two out. This bracket could go absolutely bonkers. Mason Garcia of Concordia, which I've done play-by-play for them for 10 years. He's an undersized senior.
Yeah.
I say undersized. He might weigh 240 now, which I still think's light. You get married, things happen. But Ethan DeRoche, Providence, and Ken
Yeah.
Copley. You got two guys from out west. You're getting a lot of these guys that have locked horns. Dickinson State, Eastern Oregon. Boom. It's
Yeah, man.
gonna be interesting that 19 on the bracket. So Mattern and if Jerabek makes it back, that will be if he could win and get a little revenge over Mattern, that will be pretty solid. But Herb really sticks out for some reason, and now I'm trying to get into the vault of why.
He's been a guy for a while for that. Like years back, man. I want to say first trip. So it had to be 3 or 4 years ago, but he's been there. As one of their starting heavyweights for 4 years, pretty consistently ranked. Like he's had some really big wins over the years. So,
It, the, oh, oh. So the previous 2 seasons, he was the champion in the conference, but this year he fell all the way to third.
yeah, I knew he was
So,
for a while.
so then it's like, okay. And then, I'm not even familiar with this tournament, the Spartan Matt Classic. It says he took second. So now I'm like scrambling to see
Yeah, I'm not sure
who,
what that one is either.
like I'm scrambling to see who the heck's at that one.
Yeah,
He lost by forfeit to a teammate in the finals. So,
yeah,
but it's a lot of Indiana schools out there, it looks like. But no, this is a guy that last year he made the national championships. The year before, well, he should have made it in
yeah.
23 as well.
Double time qualifier at the very least.
Yeah. Um, and at the 24 nationals, I'm trying to see what he did, but he's a guy that's been there. So, a veteran might wrestle a little looser,
Yeah,
especially when it's been the same venue the last few years. That always helps.
right.
Um,
Hey, and they probably have a breath of fresh air though too, man. Like you talked about, like with that weight clearing out, you get the number one guy that
oh,
in the country. It's like you just go into this tournament with kind of renewed. Like I think Braun beat you got to mention that he beat Hagen in the finals a few years back. Hagen beat him at national duels, but
uh,
so I mean he had to like his chances, but everybody else, man, like like Hagen's been so dominant that I think this is you look at a guy like that could really benefit. Talking about like Johnson from Life, instead of wrestling Braun to even get into the finals and then having to get over Hagen, man. Now you've got you don't want to say a clear path, but a much simpler one than it was, about a week or two ago, right? So
yeah. And there are some, like I said, man, Braden Morgan at 7,
yeah,
it is just, And he's not the only former UCO guy in the brackets either. At least not at this weight. You got to go all the way back to 133, a
Yeah.
name a name that some folks
Yeah, we
might
can look at it.
not remember. Let's see. You think you can figure it out real quick on
Oh,
133?
33, man. Is this gonna be all right? Is it how obvious is it?
Oh, it's right in front of your face.
Already?
I'll tell you this: started at UCO, and just like Big Boy Bivens, he bounced to a JUCO.
Okay, wait. My eyes are bad. You see these glasses? Do you gotta give me a second? All right, let me see. I'm trying not to embarrass myself. See if we can get it. Okay, wait. Thaddeus.
It is
All
Thaddeus
right.
Long.
Okay, dude, that wasn't okay. That was almost hard. That was harder than I thought it was gonna be. I was trying to.
Yeah,
I didn't know if he made it over there or not. I knew he won his title at Carl Albert.
yep. Yeah, he was at UCO, bounced Carl Albert, and then bounced over to Life, and hasn't looked back. But let's get it back to the heavyweight because there's tons more to talk about on the big guys. Um, there's yeah, it's a wide open race. I really think it will be interesting to see how different guys lock up. Civils, Cisneros, I think, is a little bit of an unknown too, and I say that with all the biggest compliments in the world, but you know, some of these schools, like, you've got to create your own tournaments to actually go to tournaments because you're kind of out there in your own little island. Um, the he was seventh in the Cascade, seventh.
Yeah, man.
Okay, that's depth.
Yeah. Well, nothing surprised me over. Like I said, over it. It's just so hard, man. And like the even in between the duels, like those results, like it just flip flops. I feel like almost more than every other conference, right? And you just see early upsets at that tournament too. So, like you said, like they're even unseeded in that conference. You're probably pretty solid. So,
Yeah, I do think man, Foy of Central Methodist, that there's a lot on the bottom that look really appealing. Um,
I like that dude. He's cool. He was ranked pretty high. He lost a close match at conference, but that dude's a gamer, man. He's a short, stocky cat, but he'll send it, man. He'll go up top, throw you. He's fun heavyweight to watch. Another one of Graham's dudes out at Central Methodist.
yeah, and Graham Carwath, let me give him his flowers because a lot of people don't know struggle.
Yeah,
That dude, okay, let's talk about he was the head coach named at Lindenwood Belleville. They dropped
yeah.
the program. Then he was at what was that next place he was at?
Did he go straight to Avila? I know he's at Williams Baptist, then he went to Belleville.
He went Belleville, and then he was at another school that also dropped. Like one of them, it was the school totally shut down. That was Lindenwood Belleville, and then
Uh,
it's
I
gonna drive me
believe you,
nuts.
man. He was at in our conference there for a second.
Yeah, he was at two different schools. Well, instead of just licking his wounds, he started reaching out to a bunch of different schools that didn't have wrestling. And honestly, he is the reason that Avila, as well as Friends, who are both in the KCAC, have programs because he was reaching out to both of them. He was hungry. He wanted to to have the opportunity to
Yeah.
lead a program, and he's got great connections from Arkansas, which is still very underutilized. I know there's NAI programs down there and there's D3s, but still underutilized. Oh, he
His
was at
Mac Murray.
McMurray.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
thinking that too.
So, um,
Hey, good for Graham, man. He was a dog. He worked hard. He would, like I enjoyed working with him a lot. I didn't know he was on the like banging the drums like that, in between jobs. So hey,
banging.
shout out Graham, man. You a dog.
Yeah. He's busted his hump. And yeah, and it's paying off because Central Methodist is one of those schools too that they've kind of been sneaky. They've
Yeah.
kind of come up. I mean, they're in the Heart Conference, so they've got to see Grandview for the conference title.
Yeah.
And
No, it's
yeah,
uphill, steep climb, but rising tide lifts all boats, right? So I mean, like they're making everybody in that conference better, right? So they get a lot of allocations, like a fun car to chase, right? So, um, just in terms of you competitively, right? I think it's just you have, you gave a lot of comments. I mean, that was my favorite dude in our conference to compete against, right? Former university or like that's a motivating factor, right? Like when you're coaching, right? Having respect for the people you're competing against and um gives you another layer of motivation. So, all right, we'll end it with this. All right, real quick. So, who are your we'll do all right, one dark horse at each weight, and then who are your top four teams? All right, you want to start with the
uh,
teams or the dark horse?
we going like dark horse per weight.
Yeah, one per weight.
All right, so is this 125 up in front of me?
Yeah, I'll let you go first. I won't pick the same guy as you. I already know who you're gonna pick, so I'm already looking somewhere else.
But do you? No,
I mean,
I
that's
think
an
I might.
easy one, right?
I mean, yeah, I really do like for a dark horse Brody G. I normally would say that. Well, what are we considering a dark horse?
We'll just say like anything. What do you
Double
want?
digits
Yeah, double digit be good.
or anything above 8? Because that would be all Americans.
Yeah, let's do above 8. That sounds good. Yeah, I'll do above 8.
I'll
I'll
stay with Brody.
All right. Yeah, well, good for you. I'll take Kobe Johnson. He beat Brody at I think at actually the Doan Open. He's just tough. He's Scrappy Mountain, dude up at in Montana and Hughes is tough, but in that 8-9, like, I think decent shot at the quarters, right? Went over previous All-American. Somebody right on the outside. I guess I cheated. I took the first guy out, but whatever.
Yeah, it's
I tried.
whatever.
uh,
You go
all
first this time.
right, man. Let me take a look. All right, dude. Man, I'm not want to pick the same school. I need to make this a little bit more interesting.
Oh, you could do whatever if you think it.
Well, I was get like we talked about it yesterday, but Freddie was around a 12 glass guy and already beat the 5. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave that one there though, because that's too easy. Maybe this was my alma mater. Maybe my man here stays hot, right? He just beat Cockrell, ran out to the Hart finals. I think he's a senior. In terms of maybe getting on a podium. I don't know if he's winning that second one, but maybe we just have a good tournament. How about that?
There you go. Give me Isaiah Beavers of Campbellsville.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I looked at that one too. All right. It's high seed, tough conference tournament. Um, but all right, you're up first again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm,
This is a deep weight.
there's two that I really really like in this group. For lower ones, I am gonna go. If I said just out of 8, I do like that, but I'm gonna go with Devin Avedissian in a dome.
There you go. That was the other one I thought you might say.
He's
He's tough,
scrappy.
man. He been
Mm,
around. All right, I'm going completely unseated. I'm taking this cat, Christian Lopez out of Embry Riddle. He put it on Pat Gould, almost tech faulted him in their matchup at national duels, like straight dog walked him. And that was maybe I'm putting too much stock into that match, but I haven't watched a ton. So
yeah,
riding high off of the one match I watched Christian go make me look smart. Good luck.
there you go. Yeah,
All right, this me right here.
it is.
Hey. Yeah. Okay. I'm doing this purely because it's a Kansas boy. All right. I'm gonna go with my man Brett Miner. Team Kansas, Special K. Let's go. Go get something done for us. Good luck.
Oh, there's two names that I'm really liking. Two names I'm just absolutely I don't want to
Pinion,
cheat.
man. I didn't even look at that far.
Okay.
That's all right. I'm staying with my answer anyways. I don't care. Go Kansas.
I am gonna go. Damn. I'm gonna go with Vladik of Providence.
Good call, man. Hey, that's another guy like slipped down, probably top 10, right? Slipped down um there. Hey, your dark horse is Donald Griffin, man. That might as well be a low seed for you, right?
I like, who the hell? Yeah, who the hell is that? But like, man, I was really thinking about Hagen Heinstead in that last one because I think he was a D1 transfer from Campbell.
You might have been, dude.
All right, so is it me first? Me
Yeah,
first.
I'm looking again too. Oh, it's
Oh,
you
okay.
first on this one. Yeah, I'm
I
trying to.
don't wait. Am I first?
Yeah.
Okay, give me Phaedra Dosa of Cornerstone.
All right. I'm gonna take this man, Alshot Evans right here. 16
Oh,
speed.
as soon as we both said that, I'm going.
Yeah. I
Hunter
mean,
Hobbs looks pretty good.
I was gonna say him, but I just don't know
Whew.
health wise, like with that default. That's the only thing that made me.
Well, and then you got him and Villalobos second round.
Yeah. That made me
Yeah,
a little. That one made me a little bit nervous. All right,
yeah,
go here, 65. All right. Well, you got some All Americans sitting on the outside, like you're. You know what?
yeah.
I'm stealing your pick, dude. I'm taking young Thieveridge, man. Let me see what he can't go get done out there for me.
I think that is a very good dark horse pick. Um, Man, I know I was pumping up Federico earlier, but I like names that are hard to pronounce. So William Schwartz of Simpson.
Yeah,
I always hear about how tough California is. Well,
yeah.
come and
Oh,
prove it as an unseed.
let's go Schwartz. Let's go get that money, dude.
Schwartz.
Get a
Schwartz.
facts. Yep.
Oh, now what weight is this?
74.
74. Okay, there's two I'm looking at. I'm gonna go with man, I think Providence might be the team of underdogs. So I'm going with
Yeah,
Providence here at
that's
number
great.
11.
That's a good pick. All right, my dark horse pick for second place behind Francis gonna be. Let's see here. I got to pick second place at the next 2H. That's just a homer pick.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'll go. We can't get second on the same side. I was looking at the wrong side. Hold on. Let me get. Oh, this one's hard. Give me I'll take Gorskov, man. He tough. He good.
Is Trace Braun the brother of the heavyweight?
I think so.
Whew.
They that was the one that he had a tough like conference, and then they forfeited the finalists to send him to the wild card against each
No.
other. Which the rules are the rules. I'd be nervous, right? I'd be
Yeah,
sweating bricks if that was me, but whatever.
yeah.
Um, all right, who's getting second place here? Dark horse second place. Am I first?
I think so.
All right, let's see. I'll pick the winner in the next one. Dude, trust me. Um, let's see here. Hey, I'll go. Give me give me Coles.
Oh yeah, he is right. He is at
Yeah,
11 spot.
yeah.
Um, I know this will not be. This would be a huge, big one early on. I'm gonna go with Temujin Minbeleg.
All right, man, dude. If you want to mess your percentage up like that right off the bat, man,
Yep.
I'll
Oh,
allow it. Yeah.
yeah,
No, I'm sure he's a tough kid, man. We Dakota Wesley. I mean, we don't see him like
yeah.
or I haven't saw him too much. But all right, we're on the 60-second shot clock, so we gotta make this one quick.
Oh, okay. All right. So on this one, I will go ahead and go with Burton Brant Midland, 9 seed.
Uh, Vanek, former All American. What's going on? All right,
Uh,
last one. Finale, make it good. And if I get cut off, man, appreciate your time.
yep.
It's been fun. Maybe we can look smart at the end. We can do a follow up. We do a recap video, see how bad we did.
Yep.
Yeah.
Your turn.
Oh snap! Oh no! Oh oh! Hey, I'm picking Braden Morgan. I don't care. I'm breaking the rules for
I
the.
know. I know.
Let's,
Break the rules. I am going to go ahead and say that we get Jarabek.
Jared Beck. Yeah, I was